Mario, plumber, golfer, and the hottest new toy of 2024. My name is Drew Kozub, and recently I had the chance to play Mario vs. Donkey Kong on Nintendo Switch, so I'm going to be giving you a short review today about my experience with the game. A quick note, I did receive a copy of this game for free from Nintendo to play before it was released, and as part of my agreement with them, I said that I would keep some things a surprise for when people play the game. So you're only going to hear my impressions from the beginning of the game to about World 6, and you're not going to get any detailed walkthroughs or boss battle spoilers. So, with that out of the way, let's jump into the Mario vs. Donkey Kong review. Starting with the backstory, this is a remake of a Game Boy Advance title that came out 20 years ago. For those who may have nostalgic memories of the original, like the cute voices of the little toys shouting, "Mario! Oh Mario!" all those good vibes are still there. Plus, there's a few new levels and gameplay mechanics at work. If you've never played this title before, here is the background. Donkey Kong watches a commercial for a new Mario toy. He becomes obsessed, raids the factory, grabbing all the little Mario figurines. The real Mario chases Donkey Kong through various worlds to return all the toy mini Marios to their toy box. For gameplay, each level is divided into two parts. First, you have to locate a key and carry it through the level to a locked door. Behind the locked door, you'll find another stage. Within that level is a trapped Mario toy who awaits you in a bubble. Within each course, there are 3 gifts that can be collected as an optional task, but for those who like to 100% every game, these are easy enough to snag as you make your way towards the keys and the Mario toys. However, you are racing against the clock, so you don't want to dawdle too much to track down those presents. Navigating through the courses is very easy. The difficulty starts to increase a bit around World 4, which is called Merry Miniland, but overall this is not a super challenging game, so if you're looking for a really easy pick-up-and-play title, one that you don't have to do a lot of grinding, this one is for you. If you're expecting an intense challenge, well, you're not necessarily going to find that here. At the end of each world, there are 2 finale courses, one where Mario guides the little toys back to a toy box, and a second where Mario faces off against Donkey Kong and he has to throw barrels at DK until Donkey Kong moves on to the next world. Overall, the gameplay is fun, but not super challenging. It's a mix of platformer as you evade the enemies on your quest to rescue the toys, but there's also a little bit of puzzle solving, particularly in later levels where it may take some thinking to figure out how exactly to retrieve those keys. There's a few different options for tackling this game in terms of playstyle. The game has 2 playstyle modes, Casual and Classic. In Casual mode, if Mario comes into contact with an enemy, instead of getting a game over screen and restarting the level, he just goes into a little bubble, floats back to a safe spot, and then you can resume from there. Classic mode is recommended for players looking for more of a challenge, but as already mentioned, this game isn't actually overly challenging, so just start on Classic mode and see how it goes. Unlike in the original Game Boy Advance version, the Nintendo Switch edition has 2-player couch co-op mode. The second player joins as Toad and has all the same moves as Mario. When playing in 2-player mode, there's a second silver key that's added, giving you a little bit more to do before you can actually clear a level. 2-player mode was a pretty fun way to experience the game, or maybe could be a nice option if you play it all the way through once by yourself and then want to revisit it but have a slightly different experience. My overall impressions, I love Nintendo games. The only thing I love more than a new Nintendo game is an old Nintendo game. So for me, the release of Mario vs. Donkey Kong on Switch is a best of both worlds scenario. When I'm trying to temper my excitement and maybe be a bit more objective, I have to admit that the first few worlds of the game are very easy, almost to a fault. World 1, Mario Toy Company. It's your basic tutorial levels. You get to learn Mario's available moves, interact with different enemy types. That's fine, standard. You get to World 2, Donkey Kong Jungle. Still feels overly simple to the point of not being challenging. It was super fun to see elements from the original Game Boy Donkey Kong game, like the little monkeys, the crocs, and the birds flying through the jungle. That nostalgia will only carry you so far. By the time I got to Fire Mountain and the levels were still really easy, I started to wonder what is going on here. I know I'm not that good at video games. This should be more difficult. Plus, these were the lava levels. That is where things are supposed to get super hard, right? Well, by World 4, Merry Miniland, that's when the challenge started to increase. And then I found myself needing a bit more time to navigate. In levels after that, Spooky House, a ghost-themed world, Slippery Summit, an icy playground, the challenge finally kicked in enough that I would find that every couple levels I either ran out of time trying to move that darn key through the ice, or I got a game over if a ghost crept up behind me while I was climbing up a rope. Eventually, new elements like a time attack and expert levels are unlocked, which makes the game much more challenging, but in the early worlds, expect a pretty light level of difficulty. This definitely skews more towards Kirby and the Forgotten Kingdom than Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze when it comes to a challenging Nintendo Switch game. My final thoughts, I really like this game a lot. It's such a vibrant and fun sandbox to play in. The addition of two-player mode and some new levels breathes life into this 20-year-old title. If you played Mario vs. Donkey Kong on Game Boy Advance and suffered through that terrible Game Boy Advance screen, revisiting this game on Nintendo Switch is an absolute delight. For many, this could be the first time they're playing a Mario or Donkey Kong game like this. I think the original title was maybe a little underappreciated, so I'm super happy to see a new generation of players will get to experience the fun of Donkey Kong's barrel tossing, Mario's backflips and key carrying, and those sweet little high-pitched toy Mario voices as you shepherd them through the levels and into their toy box. Hopefully you found this review helpful. Let me know in the comments section what you're most interested in about Mario vs. Donkey Kong on Nintendo Switch. My name is Drew Kozub. If you want to keep in touch outside of YouTube, you can find me on social media at Drew Kozub. Thanks so much for watching.